Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 3 news and information video. Today for you guys, we have some very spicy stuff to talk about when looking towards Rare Heartless world content, as well as an interesting new mini-game that is going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. So without further ado guys, let's just jump straight into it. So first things first, let's talk about the Rare Heartless. I guess this is something that most of us were expecting to return in Kingdom Hearts 3. For pretty much all of the Kingdom Hearts games, there's always been rare enemies of the sorts, especially when looking towards Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And of course, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is another numeral titled Kingdom Hearts game, it only makes sense that Square Enix would bring through Rare Heartless once again. So yes, Rare Heartless have been confirmed out of D23 Japan. Thanks to Kingdom Hearts Insider on their reporting, we have some news and information from this. So let's take a look at it. Kingdom Hearts 3 will include Rare Heartless, which may only be defeated by using special strategies. Different from regular Heartless, you'll be able to do things like ride on their heads, and each will have designated missions prepared. We think these will become quite the important pieces of additional content to enjoy. So that was one of the descriptions that came out of D23 Japan in terms of the Rare Heartless. And from the seams of it, these Rare Heartless will have designated special missions for them, or specific strategies that you'll have to pull off in order to defeat them. Now of course this sounds very similar to the Rare Heartless that we come across within Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix. Rare Heartless like the Pot Scorpion, where we pretty much had to deflect its poison back at it to deal damage towards it, or the Pink Agaricus, where the idea was to get as many hits on him as possible. When looking towards all of those Heartless, they had different means of actually taking them down. Also very similar to the Organization 13 Mushrooms that we came across in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. The Organization 13 Mushrooms act the same way. So once again, we can expect that the Rare Heartless will be designed similar to that of the Rare Heartless we come across in KH1 and the Organization Mushrooms we come across in KH2. And I guess most of us were expecting these sort of mini-game enemies to return anyway, but it's cool to know that these things will be returning, and it's going to be even furthermore interesting to see just how crazy some of these Rare Heartless are going to look. And of course, knowing their drop table, most likely they'll be dropping very important like synthesis items and rare materials. And speaking of the appearance of the Rare Heartless, we actually have some information speaking towards the appearance of at least one Rare Heartless from the seams. The wording is a little bit confusing, so I'll read it out to you guys. It says, the Rare Heartless will be a giant-sized Japanese pudding-themed Heartless. Co-director Taya Su says that there will be different fruit accessories that they wear. So what is confusing is, it starts off by saying the Rare Heartless will be a giant-sized Japanese pudding-themed Heartless. So does that mean that all of the different Rare Heartless throughout Kingdom Hearts 3 will be themed to that of Japanese pudding? Because they go on to say that apparently Taisu says that there will be different fruit accessories that they wear. They, meaning of course multiple. So very interesting wording there. I don't know how to take that. I don't know whether or not one is going to be a Japanese pudding Heartless, or they're all going to be just different themed Japanese pudding Heartless. However though, we can at least expect at least one Rare Heartless to be some sort of a Japanese themed pudding, which is kind of interesting. I know that the Japanese are into their custard puddings, so maybe it's going to be one giant huge Heartless custard pudding. That would be pretty sweet. Get it? Because it's pudding, it's sweet, it's got sugar and... Okay, it's alright. I'll let myself out. It's alright. I'll do it myself. It was also shown at D23 that a classic Disney property from 1933 is going to be getting implemented into the game in some form. Now, as of right now, we're not really too sure whether or not this is going to be an entire world or just a basic minigame. From the looks of things, it would seem to be that it's just going to be a minigame of sorts, but like I said, we're not too sure at this point. So this is it right here. This is actually the image that was shown at D23 to the attendees who went to the Kingdom Hearts fan event. This is Giantland, which is one of Mickey Mouse's films that ran for about 8 minutes back, obviously in 1933. You guys can actually go and YouTube this to find it in full. And essentially it's just based off of Jack and the Beanstalk, but like Mickey Mouse's retelling of it. Here's the news on it. In the presentation, some images were showcased of the current development situation, and among those, an image with the words Giantland was seen. It was quite a basic picture and not seen within any of the footage shown of the Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay, but there must be some intention of incorporating it into the game. game. Giantland is known in Japan as Mickey's Giant Conquest, which was released as an animated film in 1933, which was based on the English fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk. So judging by the picture itself, like I said, it looks to be that it is a mini-game. As we can see, the gameplay looks like it's going to be some sort of a 2D side-scroller. You guys will notice that the heads-up display is actually quite interesting. We have 4 buttons total on screen. There is one for game, one for action, and 2 for controller. Now, whether or not this heads-up display will be in this section in the final product, who exactly knows? But I think what this tells us is that the controls for this segment of Kingdom Hearts 3 in Giantland is going to be pretty straightforward. We can move from left to right, use the action button to most likely jump or interact with things, and that's probably about as far as it goes. It looks very basic and simplistic. Also, within the animated film Giantland, Mickey actually ends up getting captured by the giant known as Rumpelwat. The way he escapes is by using Pepper against him to quickly distract the giant so that Mickey can actually escape the castle. In the screenshot, we can actually see what looks to be Pepper to the left of the table down the other end of Sora. So most likely we'll probably have to end up getting to the other end of the table to grab the Pepper to then proceed into the next stage. Because as you guys can see, to the top left of the screen it says Stage 01. And in the meantime, we'll most likely have to avoid getting hit by the giant himself. Further information on this reads, the Giantland segment will be implemented like an old LSI game. This is something that Nomura really wanted to put into Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, LSI games are basically old little handheld devices that used to play like very basic black and white arcade games within the comfort of your own hands. We can definitely see that sort of style represented in Giantland for Kingdom Hearts 3 just by looking at this picture. Now, going back to it, we don't know whether this is going to be a complete full world. It's very obvious that there is going to be multiple stages to this minigame type of thing, but is that considered to be a whole entire world? Furthermore, I'm really interested to see how exactly Sora finds himself in Giantland. This is a particularly interesting property to use, hence the reason it being so close to that of the Timeless River, in which we know was a world within Kingdom Hearts 2. Timeless River was based off of Mickey's Steamboat Willie, which is a very similar film in the same style to that of Giantland, released back in 1928. So with Giantland being of the same sort of style and connected to that of the Mickey Mouse cartoons, is it possible that Giantland has some sort of connection to that of the Timeless River within Kingdom Hearts? And last up, we have a little bit of information on world scale. We of course know that the worlds within Kingdom Hearts 3 are unlike worlds that we have been to in previous Kingdom Hearts games, and that's for the main reason being that these worlds are almost on the scale of that of open world, which is a very new concept to that of Kingdom Hearts. So this is the news and information right here. It says, according to the developers, this Kingdom Hearts game is on a whole different level. In each and every world, they have put the utmost effort, so much so that each world could be considered its own game, with the amount of mechanics and gameplay that they have packed in. In the gameplay portion of the trailer, you could see Sora riding rockets, hanging from factory belts. There are truly many diverse elements that you can look forward to experiencing. And like we've seen, it's very obvious that each world does have its own gameplay elements and mechanics to use and utilize, like with what we saw from the Toy Story trailer back in D23 of last year in July. We of course know that we can use the robots within the Galaxy Toys toy shop to use against the Heartless. We can actually mount these things, and there's actually different robots that pertain to different gameplay styles. We also saw a different gameplay mechanic being used within the Toy Story world within the most recent trailer, with Sora, Woody, and Buzz riding on a rocket. Now, who exactly knows how that works, but it is unique to that of the Toy Story world. And so yeah, it seems like Square Enix are putting in a lot of time and effort and dedication into making each world feel very unique and special. And from what's being explained here, apparently these worlds are so big that they can even be considered their own games on their own, which is a pretty big statement to make. I'm really crossing my fingers that aside from just doing the story things, but also add other things to do in the worlds as well. We of course know that they're going to be so big, so you would kind of hope that Square Enix would like to encourage the players to actually explore the worlds by putting in more things to do with the actual world space of like treasures, secret areas, different switches and things to actually use to access more areas, things like side quests from NPCs. All these kind of things are really important to make sure that the player can keep entertained within the world space and to feel like they're not forced to just focus on the story side of it. And so this is something that I'm really hoping for. Square Enix, give us a reason to veer off the beaten track. If your worlds are going to be so big in Kingdom Hearts 3, make sure that you do fill them with content. But with all that being said, guys, that is going to do it for today's news and information. Some pretty juicy stuff. In the comment section down below, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions towards all of this. Hopefully you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stunning. Gold in my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crate, gaming up the bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.